Something impossibly vast drifts through the lightless deep, its form both ancient and alien. Down here, life does not shrink away from the cold and pressure. It grows monstrous. The official story says only scarcity exists in this endless black. Yet in reality, creatures like the giant squid, colossal amphipods, and giant isopods defy nature, emerging as titans where survival means growing big or disappearing forever. What forces in these crushing depths turn ordinary animals into nightmares of size, and why does each layer of the abyss breed something stranger still? As we descend, the answers rewrite everything we thought we knew about evolution's limits. The rules of the surface world do not hold in the deep. Here, size is not a luxury. It is an advantage enforced by the physics of survival. In the crushing cold, every gram of muscle and tissue must be paid for with energy. Yet, paradoxically, the deeper a creature lives, the more efficient its body becomes. Larger animals burn less energy per unit of mass than their smaller kin. This is not a guess, but a measurable law of nature called metabolic scaling. The principle is simple. As an animal grows, its surface area increases more slowly than its volume. Heat and energy escape through the surface, but are stored and used within the mass. In the deep, where food is scarce and temperatures hover just above freezing, that means bigger bodies waste less energy. They hold on to warmth, move with slow certainty, and survive on less. Dr. Craig McLean and his colleagues have charted this pattern across the world's oceans. Their work reveals a clear trend, from isopods to squid. The deeper the habitat, the greater the size advantage. McLean says that in the darkness, bigger is not only safer, it is cheaper. Each additional kilogram costs less to maintain than the one before. For a small animal, every heartbeat, every movement is a drain. For a giant, the same actions require proportionally less. This is why, in the abyss, the rule does not grow small to hide, but grow large to endure. Energy in these depths is currency. The most efficient spenders are the ones who survive. The giants are not accidents. They are the inevitable outcome of physics and hunger, shaped by the relentless arithmetic of cold, pressure, and time. Evolution has written this logic into the bodies of deep-sea titans. As we descend further, the evidence becomes impossible to ignore. Bigger is not just better. In the deep, it is essential. Deep. At 200 meters below the surface, sunlight fades to a pale blue haze. This is the Twilight Zone, a world caught between day and perpetual night. Here the water presses in from all sides, cold and heavy, and the rules of survival begin to warp. Shadows drift through the gloom, shrimp with eyes like glass orbs, worms that stretch impossibly long, their bodies almost ghostly in the dimness. Predators hunt by silhouette, searching for the faintest flicker of movement above them. For prey, every second is a test. Eyes grow larger, domed and unblinking, straining to catch the last scraps of light. Limbs lengthen, antennae and feelers sweep the water, probing for danger or the promise of food. In the darkness, being able to sense what others cannot is a matter of life and death. The Twilight Zone is crowded with hunters and the hunted. A shrimp's only warning might be the ripple of water as a squid glides past, tentacles unfurling. To survive, some shrimp grow to the size of a human hand, their bodies armored yet delicate, tuned to the faintest vibration. Worms, too, adapt, some species extending meters in length, able to vanish into the mud at the first hint of trouble. Predator. Pressure is constant. It is not just who is faster or stronger, but who can disappear first or strike from the shadows. The arms race is silent, slow, and relentless. Eyes, limbs, and bodies grow out of proportion to what would make sense in the sunlit world above. Every adaptation is a response to the deepening dark and the invisible threat that moves through it. As the light thins further, the changes become more pronounced. The Twilight Zone does not just encourage growth, it demands it. What begins here, with oversized eyes and elongated forms, is only a hint of what waits below. The water grows colder, the pressure rises, and the giants of the deep are just beginning to take shape. A ghostly ribbon drifts in the black, its body so long and delicate it seems to have no end. Praia dubia, a Siphonophore, is neither one animal nor many, but a colony, an organism made of hundreds, sometimes thousands, of specialized units fused in perfect coordination. Each segment has a purpose. Some sting, some eat, some move, all connected by a thread so fine it nearly vanishes in the dark. The Research Institute has measured these creatures stretching more than 100 feet, longer than the largest blue whale. Their bodies glow faintly, translucent and impossibly thin, pulsing with the slow rhythm of life in near-freezing water. Here, in the middle depths, the need for speed has faded. There are no coral reefs, no crashing waves, only the relentless hush of pressure and cold. Energy is precious. Praia dubia does not chase or flee. It unfurls its filaments and waits, a living net suspended in silence. Anything that brushes against its curtain of stinging cells is paralyzed, drawn in, and consumed by the collective. This is survival by patience, not by force. The colony grows as long as it must, its architecture shaped by scarcity and the slow drift of currents. Nearby, another giant moves with equal grace. Stygiomedusa gigantea, the giant phantom jelly, glides through the water with a bell over 1 meter wide. Its arms, 4 broad sheets of flesh, trail behind it like veils. Unlike most jellies, it has no stinging tentacles. Instead, it uses its arms to envelop prey, folding them inward with a motion both gentle and inescapable. Encounters with this medusa are rare. In more than 3 decades, researchers at the Institute have recorded only a handful of sightings, each one a fleeting glimpse of a creature almost too fragile for the world it inhabits. These ethereal titans are not built for battle, but for endurance. Their gelatinous bodies are mostly water, light, flexible, able to withstand the crushing pressure without armor or bone. They grow large not for dominance, but because size brings efficiency. A longer Siphonophore can catch more food with less movement. A giant jelly can drift for months, conserving energy, waiting for the next meal to wander close. Slow metabolism is their shield, allowing them to persist where others would perish. The deeper the descent, the more the giants rely on this quiet strategy. They are not predators in the sense of muscle and speed, but architects of the void, masters of patience, built for a world where time stretches and the only certainty is darkness. The Research Institute's cameras have revealed these forms in the gloom, their outlines stretching beyond the reach of light, their movements almost dreamlike. For a moment, the scale of the deep becomes clear. Here, size is not a weapon, but a way to endure the endless drift. The giants of gelatin and colony float on, setting the stage for the more muscular hunters that wait below. They hang, they drift, they wait. In the black, being enormous can be the most efficient choice of all. Deep rumble. 1,000 meters down, the water is black and heavy, and the rules of survival are written in muscle and blood. Here, the giants are no longer made of drifting jelly or transparent threads. They are built for conflict. In this darkness, 2 titans meet in silence, the giant squid, Architeuthis dux, and the colossal squid, Mesonicoteuthis hamiltoni. Both are armed for war, each evolved to test the limits of flesh and will. The giant squid is a creature of speed and reach. Its eyes, the largest in the animal kingdom, 27 centimeters across, drink in every faint glimmer. These eyes are not just windows, but weapons, able to spot the ghostly outline of a predator or prey at impossible distances. The arms and tentacles, lined with rows of sharp, chitinous suckers, coil and strike with precision. Each sucker is ringed by tiny teeth, leaving circular scars on anything it touches. The body is built for bursts of acceleration, jetting through the water in search of fish, other squid, or anything unlucky enough to cross its path. Deeper still, the colossal squid drifts, heavier, slower, but more dangerous. At nearly half a ton, it dwarfs its cousin. Its tentacles are studded not just with suckers, but with swiveling hooks, some sharp, some three-pointed, all capable of latching onto struggling prey. These hooks can rotate, digging deeper with every twist. The colossal squid's arms are thick with muscle, and its mantle is armored, dense and cold. It hunts by ambush, waiting in the shadows for large fish to pass within reach. When it strikes, the encounter is violent and brief. Toothfish hauled from Antarctic depths often bear the marks: deep gouges, torn flesh, the unmistakable signature of a predator that feeds only a few times a year but makes each meal count. Yet even these monsters are not safe. Sperm whales, the largest toothed predators on Earth, dive for hours in search of squid. The evidence is written on their bodies: circular scars from squid suckers, some stretching meters across, and beaks, hard and indigestible, found by the hundreds in whale stomachs. Every encounter is a battle. The whale hunts by sonar, tracking the faintest echo. The squid, sensing the approach, flares its arms, lashes out, fights for its life in the dark. Sometimes the whale wins, surfacing with scars as trophies. Sometimes the squid escapes, leaving only fragments behind. For both hunter and hunted, size is not a luxury. It is a weapon and a shield. Larger eyes see danger sooner. Thicker arms resist being torn away. Heavier bodies endure the struggle, the crushing pressure, the long fasts between kills. In this arms race, evolution has pushed each side to extremes, forging giants whose only equals are each other. The scars and beaks collected in museums, the battered bodies of whales, and the rare intact squids pulled from the deep are all that remain of these silent wars. The deeper the descent, the more unforgiving the contest. Down here, only the immense survive. Below 4,000 meters, the seafloor is a wasteland of silt and bone, swept by currents that never see the sun. Here, the giants are not swift hunters. They are scavengers, patient and relentless. Wasteland. Bathynomus giganteus, the giant isopod, prowls the abyssal plains on armored legs. At half a meter in length, it dwarfs its shallow water cousins, waiting years between the rare windfalls of food that drift down from above. Giant. When a carcass lands, isopods descend in swarms, tearing flesh with powerful mandibles, gorging until movement becomes impossible. These feasts are brief and brutal. Afterwards, some may not eat again for months, even years, surviving on reserves packed away in their swollen bodies. Feasts. Nearby, amphipods, some as large as a clenched fist, join the frenzy. In the trenches of the Pacific, Alicella gigantea can measure over 30 centimeters, their pale bodies twisting through the mud. Unlike their tiny relatives in coastal shallows, these amphipods are built for famine and chaos. Famine. Their size is not armor against the pressure, but a strategy for survival in a world of uncertainty. When food is rare, bulk becomes a vault, storing energy against the long dark. Vault. Threading through the sediment, polycate worms stretch meters in length. Some, like the abyssal unicids, burrow deep, waiting for vibrations that signal the fall of a meal. Their bodies are soft, flexible, sometimes gelatinous, adapted for a life squeezed by unyielding pressure, but not armored as legend suggests. They move with unsettling patience, vanishing into the silt at the slightest threat, reappearing when the coast is clear and hunger calls. Patience. Despite the crushing weight overhead, over 400 times the pressure at the surface, these scavengers do not rely on shells or thickened exoskeletons for protection. Instead, they are shaped by scarcity and the cold logic of the abyss. Scarcity. Size brings resilience, not invulnerability. Each giant here is a solution to the same problem: how to endure in a world where the next meal may never come. In the silence of the benthic plain, the monsters are not armored titans, but slow, patient survivors, built for a life of feast and famine in the endless dark. Silence. Deep rumble. In the Hadal trenches, more than 6,000 meters beneath the surface, life is forced to rewrite its own chemistry. The pressure here is so immense that water molecules slip into the very folds of proteins, threatening to break them apart. Yet somehow, a few creatures endure. Scientists at NOAA and JAMS Tech have documented these survivors, but their methods and their findings remain mostly hidden in the dark. Silence. One adaptation stands out. Barophilic solutes like trimethylamine N-oxide, called TMAO, crowd the cells of Hadal animals, stabilizing proteins that would otherwise collapse under the crushing weight. As depth increases, so does the concentration of TMAO, a kind of invisible armor against the abyss. But this chemical shield comes at a cost. High levels of TMAO make it harder to balance fluids and energy, setting a boundary for how deep, complex life can function. Some researchers argue that this molecular limit explains why no true giants are found in the very deepest trenches. Others point to oxygen, noting that even in these cold, dense waters, oxygen can become scarce. The debate splits the field. Is it the chemistry of pressure or the physics of gas exchange that draws the final line? Music. Lipid buoyancy is another puzzle. Many Hadal species, from snailfish to amphipods, fill their bodies with waxy fats rather than air. These lipids resist compression, allowing animals to hover in the water or crawl along the seafloor without being crushed. Genetic studies hint at convergent evolution, different species arriving at similar solutions independently over millions of years. Yet for every adaptation uncovered, new questions surface. NOAA's Okeanos, Explorer, and Jamstek's Shinkai submersibles have returned with footage and samples, but the evidence is always fragmentary. Silence. Direct observation is rare. Most of what is known comes from fleeting glimpses, fragments of tissue, or the chemical signatures left behind. The limits of size, the true drivers of gigantism at these depths, remain open to speculation. The Hadal Zone is a laboratory of extremes, where every answer dissolves into another layer of mystery. Silence. Right now, over 80% of our ocean remains unmapped, meaning the largest life forms on Earth may still drift in darkness, unseen. Deep rumble. Each new descent rewrites what we think is possible. As deep-sea trawlers and submersibles push further, every discovery reminds us, in the world's last true wilderness, evolution still breaks its own rules.